Hello, welcome again to the corrected video of grade 9 cyclic 2 physics video solution. Let us start with the first question. The first question is explain with the help of an example that motion is relative. It's a 2-mark question. The answer for the same goes as follows. When you are in a moving train, your position is from the ceiling and from the windows you are at rest. However, looking outside the window or onto the platform or onto the trains outside, it is clear that you are in motion. Hence, we say motion is relative. So, if you see an example of rest as well as an example of motion, both have been specified in the answer, and then we say hence motion is relative. So, if you've used any other example, that is absolutely okay. But hopefully, you've used example for both rest as well as for motion. If you've done that, then you can give yourself full 2 marks. We go to the next question. The next question is, can displacement be zero even if distance is not zero? Give an example to explain your answer. Again, it's a 2-mark question. The answer goes as follows. Displacement of a body can be zero if the distance covered by it is not zero. For example, if the body moves in a circular direction or along a circular path, then the displacement of the body is one rotation. Then the displacement after one full rotation is zero, but the distance covered will not be zero. It will be equal to 2 pi r. 2 pi r being the circumference of the circle that we're talking about. So if you've written this, then you can give yourself full 2 marks. You need to mention a couple of important points here. You have to give an example where the distance covered is not zero, but the displacement is zero. You have to clearly mention the values of the example that you state. If you've done that, then you can give yourself full 2 marks. Going to the third question. The third question was define speed. What is instantaneous speed? When is the instantaneous speed same as the average speed? So the answer is the definition of speed, of course. It is a rate of distance covered, fine, or distance covered per unit time. Both the definitions are okay. The units for speed, although they're not asked, you can mention the units as meters per second and centimeters second raised to -1, fine. However, they have also asked the question, what is or when is instantaneous speed same as the average speed? That is in the case of uniform motion, my dear friends. In the case of uniform motion, when the speed remains constant, the instantaneous speed and the average speed of a body are equal. We go to question number 4. Question number 4 is, what is deceleration? What is the SI unit of deceleration? So the answer is as follows. The velocity of a body decreases with time, and this is called as retardation, negative acceleration, or deceleration. Once again, when the velocity of a body decreases with time, then it's called as retardation, negative acceleration, or deceleration. The unit for deceleration, SI unit for deceleration, is meter second raised to -2 or meters per second square. Fifth question is define acceleration due to gravity. State its average value, again for 2 marks. The answer is, when a body falls under gravitational force, acceleration possessed by it is called as acceleration due to gravity. So that is 1 mark. And average value of g, that is acceleration due to gravity, is 9.8 meters per second square or 980 centimeters per second square. So if you've written the average value and the correct unit, fine, you can give yourself 1 mark. And if the definition is also correct, you can give yourself another 1 mark. So that is a 2-mark question. Going to the 6th question, which is define displacement. When is the magnitude of displacement equal to distance? The answer goes as follows. The shortest distance from the initial to the final position of a body is the magnitude of displacement, and its direction from the initial to the final position, fine, together is the magnitude of displacement and direction of displacement. Now the magnitude of displacement is equal to distance when the body moves along a straight line. The magnitude of displacement is equal to distance when the body is moving along a straight line. If you've written both the parts correctly, then you can give yourself 2 marks. Next question, an insect is crawling on a cycle rim. A cycle rim is a cycle tire which has a diameter d. What will be the distance covered by the insect and what will be the displacement uh, in half revolution and in one complete revolution? So let us look at the answer. Uh, in one half revolution, the displacement, the distance traveled will be half of 2 pi r, which is pi r, and the displacement will be equal to the diameter. I repeat, the displacement will be equal to the diameter. So there is a displacement 2r, and the distance covered from one side to the other side along the diameter, along the circumference, is equal to pi r. So distance is pi r, displacement is 2r when half the circle takes place. When it is complete circle, the distance covered is 2 pi r and the displacement is 0. So if you've written both the set of answers correctly, then you can give yourself full 2 marks. Next, question number 8. That is a clear distinguish between scalar and vector. I say it's a clear distinguish because we already know if it's a distinguishing question, fine. For 2 marks, you minimum need to have 2 points on each side. The first point should ideally be the definition of that particular thing. So define scalars, then define vectors. You can use the example, fine, but the example cannot be considered as a point. So you have to have 2 distinguishing points, fine, supported by additional examples. If you've written any 2 out of the first 4 points, you can give yourself 2 marks, provided both the points on both the sides are correct. That is question number 8. Question number 9. What does the slope of displacement time graph represent? Can displacement time graph be parallel to the displacement axis? The first answer is, what does the slope of displacement time graph represent? The slope of displacement time graph, my dear friends, will be y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, which is displacement upon time. Values on the y coordinate upon the values on the x coordinate, which is displacement upon time. Hence, the answer is velocity. I repeat, the slope of displacement time graph gives us velocity. The second question in that part was, can we have a graph parallel to the y-axis? So if we draw a graph parallel to the y-axis, this graph simply means that at around 2.5 seconds, the body displaced from 20 meters to maybe 60 meters. Now, we all understand without the time moving forward, a body cannot displace. I repeat, whenever a body displaces from point A to point B, it will definitely take some time to do that, which is not how or whatever it's happened here. And therefore, we say, I repeat, and therefore, we say the displacement time graph, the axis, the answer cannot be parallel to the y-axis. In short, the answer has to be exactly as it is mentioned over here. If the answer is exactly as it is mentioned over here, then you can give yourself 2 marks. One for the first part, one for the second part. Going to question number 10. The question number 10 is a numerical. So numerical, you need to have 2 things as discussed earlier. You need to have the formulas and correct substitution. And the second part is the correct calculation and answer with the correct unit. So if you've written the right formula and substituted correctly, you get 1 mark. If you have substituted the right formula and got the correct answer finally, then you get 1 more mark. So that is how you get 2 marks for numerical. The answer for the 10th question was as follows. Total distance covered is 400. Average speed is 400 by 5, which is 80 kilometers per hour. And average velocity is 0. Displacement is 0 upon time, which is 0. So if you've written both the answers correctly with the correct units, then you can give yourself 2 marks. Going to question number 11. Question number 11, my dear friends, is again a numerical. A body starts from rest, acquires a velocity of so and so in so and so time. Find the acceleration and the distance covered. You need to mention all the given information correctly. The formula has to be correct, substitution has to be correct, and final answer has to be correct. I repeat, formula, substitution, calculation, and the final answer. If all of it is correct, then you can give yourself full 2 marks for both the for both the parts, that is. So the final answer for the first part is 5. The final answer for the second part is 10. That is question number 11, my dear friends. Going to question number 12 now. Question number 12, we are supposed to find retardation in the SI units. The answer goes as follows for question number 12. Answer comes out to be minus 2.5 meters per second square, my dear friends. Answer should be minus 2.5 meters per second square if you're writing equal to acceleration. If you've written equal to retardation, then the answer will be 2.5. When you write retardation, you don't have to write negative. So if your answer is right, with the units are correct, then you can again give yourself 2 marks. Going to the 13th question, which is also a numerical again. So based on the solution and the final answer, the solution and the final answer is as follows. 15 meters per second is the final answer. Formula is this, substitution is this. So if you've done all of that correctly, you can give yourself full 2 marks. Going to question number 14, which is the last question, which is the derivation, my dear friends. Derivation cannot be in 2 different ways. Derivation has to be the way it is given in the answer paper. Fine. So if you have used any other method, the answer paper derivation that is given over here, my dear friends, is algebraic method. Even if you use the geometrical method, you can still give yourself 2 plus 2 full 4 marks. Fine. So geometrical method is fine. Algebraic method is also fine. But the derivation cannot be in any other format. So you can simply check your derivation with the given answer. That's about it. The solution ends here. If you've got full marks, congratulations, keep it up. If you've not managed to get the full marks, it's absolutely fine. It's better to really struggle than to cheat. Fine. So if you've not cheated and if you've struggled, it's absolutely fine. Keep struggling. You will eventually triumph. Take care. Keep smiling. Stay safe. Thank you so much.